Alexei Danilov from Ukraine Security Council said the actual authorities had a more of working hypothesis for the crash by actually working on the possible visibility for the rocket attacks. That could actually, have opened up more visible stories behind the actual attacks by the rocket attacks. The actual terror attack with the rockets or missiles, possibly that could actually be done involving the goal missile system by actually targeting the very object with the precision. That is, what has been considered as the most important theories at this moment, because we somehow managed to obtain the actual exchange record that indicate the possible exchange of information concerning the rocket missiles. Somehow there were traces that truly crystallize and verify and substantiate the possible information exchange concerning rocket missile attacks on the internet to figure out the way how they actually led this plane to crash in the vicinity, which it could have been easily used. Because in the very vicinity and the proximity of the actual accident, there were indeed many different internet searches that had been done, and they somehow at this moment maintain the possible traces that could actually speak for the actual exchange of information about the rocket fall down. How they would actually successfully pull off and bring off the missile attacks to bring down the plane in the sky by targeting and gunning for this plane with the precision of missiles through the Tor rocket Gold rocket system manufactured by Russia. That's what has been said by this Ukrainian Security Council investigator on the ground. Because in the region, the IP addresses have already been obtained. So they are actually very serious about the actual notification and the information exchange in the search records. There are affirmative for the possible search conducted preliminary by this, terrorist or terror organization affiliated militias who have been searching for this actual venue. And the Ukrainian investigator who I've already actually tried this one. I'm so sorry. I've already actually done this. Pains to see this escalation not substantiated through Iran. Let's try to see. There has been another rocket attacks reported in the regime district close to the capital city of Baghdad, in the midst of the Baghdad's regime district. There are many different important edifices of the administrative district in Baghdad. There had already been reported many different rockets that were actually being shot, right? Approximately 20 kilometers east of the airport. However, the U.S. Vice President Pence actually truly pull off no significant interest for renewing the tension between Iran and the United States by demonstrating the peaceful sign that would be expected from Iran for de-escalation. Because, I really actually heard that. He actually already said that in a sit-down with Laura O'Donnell from CBS News. He actually says that, according to the information gathered and obtained by the U.S. intelligence officers on the ground, saying that the Iranian affiliated terror militias have already been told not to touch or attack or go against American citizens or civilians or military forces directly by stabbing them off. Because this would immediately throw a fire or even ignite immediate demonstration with the United States, and he actually hopes to construe this message as a sign of peace and de-escalation. At least, he really hopes to see this going. In the Iraq capital city Baghdad, there are already secured the green zone that had been protected in the name of administration district filled with the edifices devoted to ruling and administrating. However, even in this safe zone, there are attacks that had been conducted by a new rocket missiles shot. 2 rockets, type of a Katyusha. They were already actually been sent out at the latest night of Wednesday. And the Iraqi military forces shared the story. So far, there had been no victims injured because of this accident. The Iraqi military forces have shared the story by opening up this information that there had been renewed 2 different rocket missile attacks that had been shot in the region by targeting the administrative zone, which had been classified as the safest zone, as a green zone, completely freed from any attacks, as a keeping the neutrality from any different forces, whether terrorists or whether affiliated troops. They truly somehow had implied agreement in consensual ratification to keep peace in the region. However, this had been breached with the 2 rocket attacks, missile attacks, that had been the types of Katyusha. Katyusha? Is that really one? Katyusha? At least, at late night on Wednesday. The affected edifices in the region were, above all, the American Embassy and the Great Britain, the United Kingdom's Embassy, as well as Iraqi Ministry Office and the Parliament. Because in the region, so-called administration district hosts multiple offices that were so important for ruling and governing from Iraqi government, as well as official buildings for embassies. In this region, the American Embassy and the Great Britain's Embassy are situated, and those 2 different buildings were actually in the vicinity of the attack. The American Embassy was indeed met with the 2 different rockets to be damaged. However, thankfully there was no victim injured or casualties suffered from the incident. But this region hosts and houses, above all, very important edifices and establishments like the U.S. Embassy and the Great Britain's Embassy, as well as Iraqi ministries, as well as a parliament.